Hey guys, welcome to the Sacred Timeline. I'm Sean.
I'm Peyton.
Today we're going to be talking about the formation of the Avengers. So the Avengers happens as Marvel's become more successful and is able to start publishing more titles. They decided to do another superhero team book, mostly due to the success of Justice League, but also they wanted the book to kind of bolster the popularity and the profile of the characters within, because these were not characters that were super successful the way that Fantastic Four and Spider-Man were. They were a little lower tier. Most of these characters didn't have their own books. There was an Incredible Hulk book, but it was canceled after 6 issues, and the remaining heroes were just all in various anthology titles. And so the team as presented, the original founding Avengers, are Thor, Ant-Man, Hulk, and Iron Man. Wasp is also there, but not listed on the cover.
Because why would she be?
The inspiration for Hulk kind of comes from The Thing's popularity. They wanted to do another monster character, and Hulk is kind of a combination of Frankenstein and Jekyll and Hyde, which is, I think, a really great idea. Like, Hulk, I think, is such a neat character. Iron Man comes from Stan Lee wanting to challenge his readers a little bit in presenting them with a character that they would really hate, a war profiteer in the time of Vietnam, and put him through such a story that his readers would end up liking him and feeling sympathetic for him. Though Stan Lee's brother Larry ends up doing most of the actual Iron Man writing. Thor came from a desire to have some more, to play with gods, to have way more powerful characters at play. And again, Stan Lee's brother ended up actually doing the writing. Ant-Man came from this like short story Stan Lee did, and he just kind of liked the idea, and as he had to come up with more and more superheroes, he was like, that'll work. Let's make that a superhero.
Just throw it in there. We need another one. We got to complete the set.
I mean, it's so funny to look at the Avengers, because obviously now they are so immensely popular, where there are 4 movies called The Avengers that have made billions upon billions upon billions of dollars.
That it started out as just like, hey, all these characters kind of suck. So I mean, we need to make them more popular.
And this will haunt the Avengers as a brand until like the 2000s, when they finally just go, fuck it, add Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Put them in there. It's fine.
Because like for decades, the Avengers is... Do you remember when we talked about Justice League? We talked about Martian Manhunter and how they never know what to do with him. So it's just put him on the Justice League.
Always ends up in the Justice League.
Just because they don't know what else to do. That's every character on the Avengers, always. Until like the 2000s. is, I don't know, put him on the Avengers, I guess.
Just put him in there. It's fine. It's fine.
Like, they just never know what to do with these characters. And it's unfortunate because like it has this feeling that you're just kind of watching lower tier stuff. Not watching, but reading.
Reading, yeah.
And again, that will define the Avengers forever until they finally just add Spider-Man and Wolverine to it. And then the movies raise their profile quite a bit. Yeah. Where like now these are like the A-list characters.
Right, like everybody knows.
Yeah.
Like,
and like is excited by them and like wants to read their adventures. Whereas these days it's kind of like, oh, okay. That's a thing.
Sure. Like, why are we talking about Norse gods now? I don't know what's going on here.
Because these aren't characters that people want to read solo adventures of. So the idea just, well, when we put them together, it's like, still no.
Still no? Like, I don't... Because I feel like, at least in my case, like, as far as, like, the Avengers is concerned, I'm never really, like, interested unless it specifically has, like, 1 or 2 Marvel characters that I like specifically like.
Yeah.
I'm never just like, I'm going to read the Avengers because, it's like the team, it's the thing, like you have to. It's always just like, oh, this issue has Spider-Man in it. Or I think there's a couple where like Moon Knight makes an appearance. I'm like, okay, I'll read those because it has the character I like there. You know what I mean? But I'm not reading the Avengers just to read the Avengers almost ever.
And honestly, a lot of the team books kind of get in that rut at a certain point. Justice League is certainly like that. At a certain point where people just kind of fell off that book at a certain point. Like even today, I think Justice League is a tough sell. Because I think the individual fans of those characters are just going to read those books.
Yeah, like if I want to see Batman, I'm just going to go read a Batman comic. I'm not going to go read a Justice League comic with Batman in it. I'd rather just have Batman, dude.
Yeah. But getting into this story, we start with Loki, so we're playing with continuity, we're continuing the stories of these characters. So Loki's obviously Thor's main nemesis. And I kind of like that, starting in that sort of way. And obviously that ends up influencing the first Avengers movie. A lot of this ends up in the movie. Loki is on an island. He has been banished there by Odin, but he still has all of his powers intact because this is a terrible prison. And he mental projects where he can look over Earth because his goal is he needs to get Thor to this island. He needs to get Thor off of Earth, back to Asgard, and to this island. And so he's spying on Thor, who is in his civilian disguise as Dr. Donald Blake, which is not a thing anymore, but it was part of the original conceit to give him a secret identity because everybody had to have one of those back in these days.
The superhero brand. It's like, you had your superhero and then you had...
Yeah, like you had to have someone under the mask.
Yeah.
And Loki's like, well, that's fucking lame. I don't want this stupid nerd doctor. I need him to be Thor.
Like, I can't just kill him right now. Right? Like, if I did that, I just killed a guy. Like, I need him to actually be Thor when it makes a difference.
Yeah, no, it's very funny. And he's like, okay, so I need something to lure Thor out. And so he's just kind of looking around and he sees the Hulk. And he's like, perfect.
Oh.
And he does a mental projection of some dynamite on a railway. Hulk sees it and Hulk goes to grab the dynamite, but obviously there's no dynamite, so he just crashes through.
Into the bridge.
Yeah, he just crashes through and destroys it. But a train is coming, and even though Hulk does stop to fix it so that the train can pass with no one getting hurt, which I think is just to show you that Hulk is a good person.
Good guy, yeah.
But every person on the train just sees Hulk fucking with the railway. And it's oh my god, Hulk's trying to kill us.
He's trying to kill us all!
So Loki's plan is still working. So then we cut to a character, Rick Jones, who is more or less Hulk's sidekick. He's kind of like Snapper Carr, who we covered in Justice League. Just oh my god. Nah. And so he's kind of just this human who hangs out. He knows Bruce is Hulk. And he has this thing that was formed in the Hulk book called the Teen Brigade. Stan's trying to be hip and appeal to his teenage readers. I get it.
It happens.
And Rick, there's newspaper articles about the Hulk attacking this train. And Rick's like, well, that can't be true. I know him.
Yeah, that's not right.
So I need to call in real heroes to take care of this. I'm going to call the Fantastic Four. And you know what? It really doesn't help when in your text you tell me there are better heroes.
Yeah.
This is the thing that these companies do to this day, where they're constantly kind of undermining and throwing and it'll just be little jokes about how there are different tiers of heroes. But I'm like, you can't get mad at me about not caring about certain characters then.
Yeah, when you're I mean, this guy's clearly better, and it's oh, you know what? You might be right. Why is my book not selling?
Yeah, they got rid of the Justice League for a little bit recently, and they were the Titans are the main heroes now. And it's okay.
Cool.
That's cool. And then this story happens called Absolute Power, and the conclusion of the main Justice League heroes at the end of Absolute Power is this wouldn't have happened if the Justice League had been together. And it's fuck the Titans, I guess, man.
The Titans are so cool. They're the main guys now. But also, they still fucking suck.
And this horrible, horrible thing happened because we weren't the main team. So we have to be the main team again. And it's okay, I'm just not going to buy Titans then, man.
Yeah, I'm just not going to read Titans then.
You're telling me that they suck.
I'm just going to read Justice League then. That's
okay, man. Like, I get it, you have your new Justice League book you want to do, but also, like, shit, dog.
Yeah.
Like, how do you expect the Titans to, like, ever come out of that shadow if you just immediately undermine them?
Yeah. Like, if you're gonna do it, send it. Like, you can do it. But don't immediately just be like, no, actually, they fucking suck, and the Justice League is also back now. Fuck you.
Because the Titans sucked so hard and fumbled the ball.
Yep.
And, like, even before that story, like, the Titans never really got to be front and center.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every, like, big event that happened during the Justice League hiatus, those characters were always front and center doing everything.
Yeah, the Justice
like,
League.
Sure, there was no Justice League, but, like, they were there.
They were there. They were
working
still
as a
doing
team, no matter what.
Yep.
Like, they fumbled it so hard.
Yeah.
There was also, I remember during one of the Arrowverse crossovers,
Mm-hmm.
I remember one of the Legends writers being like, oh, you're finally going to get to see how competent and cool the Legends are. Like, you're finally going to respect the Legends. And I'm like, motherfucker, you spend every episode of that stupid show telling me that they're losers.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at me.
You spend every second writing your script telling me how much all of them blow.
That they're like silly goofballs and incompetent. And then you can't get mad at me when I'm like, oh, they're kind of silly.
Oh, yeah, they're kind of silly. They're kind of dumb.
No, take them seriously. I'm like, you're not writing them seriously.
Then write them like what? Like, how am I supposed to take them seriously when you're writing them in such a way that like is not able to be taken seriously?
Yeah, it's just something that sometimes kind of drives me bananas in comics. But Rick, he's like, we got to call the Fantastic Four, and he's going to contact them through a specific radio frequency that will go directly to the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
And Loki's like, I don't want to fight the Fantastic Four. What is happening?
I'm actually scared of, like, the Fantastic Four might actually be able to stop me. Like,
but also, like, I don't care about them. I'm a Thor villain.
Yep.
I want to
I wanna
fight
kill
Thor.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
That's what it is more than anything. Is he's just like, I don't care for the Fantastic. Like, they can do whatever the hell they want. I just want to kill Thor.
Yeah. And so he redirects the radio signal to Donald Blank's office, but he's an idiot. And the radio signal goes to just everybody in the world.
Yeah, everybody who's listening to that particular frequency at the time.
Because not only does Donald Blake hear it and turn into Thor and fly off, Ant-Man and the Wasp hear it, Iron Man hears it, and the Fantastic Four hear it.
Yeah, the Fantastic Four still get that message. But they're just like, no, we're too busy.
We're busy being in a book that sells.
Yep. We're too busy making Stan Lee a shitload of money, dude.
And I also love the little panel of Sue where she's got this like crazy 60s haircut out of just nowhere. Like, I've never seen her look like that.
Oh my god. I didn't even notice that.
It's wild.
I didn't even notice that on the first read. I was just like, reading through and I was just like, yep, that's Invisible Woman for sure.
I love also that Johnny's on fire flying around the Baxter building.
Yeah.
He's like, you can turn that off. Like, I get it's just because we want to draw Human Torch.
But also, it's very on brand for Johnny as a character to just be like, I'm bored, I'm going to fly around near the ceiling on fire. And it's like, Johnny, you're going to burn the building down. Can you not do this, please?
Can you imagine how hot it is to be around him?
Oh,
it's
awful.
Probably like pretty bad,
brutal.
Right?
Yeah.
It's July, man. Can you turn that off?
They just keep those little hand fans on them at all times.
They're just built into the uniforms.
Yeah.
In some crazy way. So all the Avengers, they all descend onto the Teen Brigade's hideout, I guess, the basement where they have a radio to contact the Fantastic Four. Ant-Man and Wasp I don't know if they maybe can't like get big at this point because they never do. They stay small the entire
whole
story.
thing. I was actually going to ask about that once they actually kind of like showed up and started doing stuff because they
never get big.
Never.
And yeah, I just don't know enough about Ant-Man and the Wasp because they're not exactly my favorite characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what that's about because they don't even not even to talk. They like project images of themselves on the wall to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, they they just turn on a flashlight and like stand in front of it. Like,
it's weird.
Why?
And they're kind of talking, and Rick Jones is kind of telling them about the Hulk. Thor looks out the window, and Loki's of course like, well, shit, I accidentally formed a superhero team. I just wanted to fight Thor. This is getting out of hand.
Yeah.
I need to get Thor out of there. So he mental projects an image of the Hulk. Thor looks out the window, sees the Hulk, doesn't say anything, just leaves.
Just goes to fight
Nobody notices the 7-foot Adonis leaving. Thor, he just starts chasing the Hulk. realizes very quickly that it's a projection and goes, Loki.
Oh.
It's Loki.
I know who did that.
So he just immediately leaves.
Yep.
And goes to Asgard because he's the only competent hero we have in this book, unfortunately. And then finally Iron Man is like, where did Thor go?
Where's Thor?
But basically the others decide, okay, well, I don't know where he went.
Let's just go find the Hulk, I guess.
Yes. And so Ant-Man has sent like ant scouts out and they have found Hulk hiding in a circus. He's doing like a strongman routine. And he's basically just kind of laying low and having a good time.
He's such a little cutie in his in his clown makeup.
Yeah,
dude. I love him so much.
He's just juggling animals, having a good time, lifting heavy stuff.
Everybody thinks it's a robot.
Yeah, which is interesting.
It's odd, right?
Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp come in, because it's their ant scouts. And Wasp is immediately complaining that Thor left instead of Iron Man because Iron Man is super ugly because it's just, a robot suit.
Robot suit.
No one knows it's Tony Stark.
And Thor's hot as hell.
It's like, oh my God, Stan.
You didn't bring it up earlier when Ant-Man and the Wasp were first like leaving to go to like the meetup and everything. The Wasp was like, hey, I literally have wings. Like, why can't I just fly? Like, why do I have to ride the ant? And Ant-Man's like, because I don't want to listen to you, bitch woman. It's like, dude.
That's their entire relationship. Is she says something dumb, to be fair. Except that was a valid point of hers.
That was a valid point, yeah.
But every other line she has is just how hot Thor is and how ugly everybody else is. And then he's like, shut up, woman.
Shut up.
It's like, what is this? What is happening here? This is not enticing me to read Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, it's kind of keeping me away from it, right?
Like, what are we doing? But Ant-Man, he has all the ants like dig under Hulk and all these ants cause a cave-in. Hulk falls in and he's like, fuck. That's rude.
Ow.
And he gets out and Ant-Man's like trying to talk to him through a big microphone and they're like trapping him and they're just making him mad. He finally like wipes off the makeup, rips off the clown outfit because he's like, I'm going to fuck you guys up.
Which like, and obviously they want to make him a little sympathetic, but it's hard to be like, oh yeah, the Hulk is just being like he's being a monster, but it's like, you started trying to trap him before you started trying to talk to him. Like, had you let in with, hey bud, we talked to people that like know about you, they know you didn't actually do this, we want to help you.
Yeah.
But instead it's like, cave in the floor, trap him in a hole, and then we're going to try to talk to him. Oh crap, he broke out of the hole.
Metal canister.
Trap him in a tube. And it's like no wonder he's not cooperating and he's just like going to break a bunch of shit because you're trying to trap him.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just classic Hulk. Like, people meet him with such aggression so fast. And like, obviously he's a big scary monster. But then obviously it escalates the situation and makes things way worse than ever actually happening. And that's just classic Hulk. Yeah. Like, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Is instead of like, especially for the people that know he's Bruce. And granted, I'm not sure when Ross finds out, because obviously in a lot of the adaptations, Ross knows from the beginning.
Yep.
And so in like the movies, it's like, just talk to him, dude. You know him.
You know that guy.
And Ross is instead like, tanks.
Tanks. Helicopters.
I'm going to inject this guy over here with the same formula and hope that doesn't backfire.
There's no way that this could go wrong.
Oh no, I made a monster that's destroying New York. But I don't know at what point Ross finds out in the comics. But obviously, Ross is the main antagonist. Just fucking with Hulk and making Hulk mad. But yeah, then Hulk pretty much knocks Wasp out because Wasp sucks. She can't do anything.
I love that, like, I want to know, because it's one of those, like, chimney stokers.
Yeah.
I just want to know what it's doing there in the middle of a circus tent.
A circus tent?
Like, what do we...
Maybe it's part of an act.
Maybe. But... yeah, he uses a fire stoker to just blow her out of the sky. And then it's just like, hey, if you didn't remember, you're literally a bug.
Yeah, and I think that's just Stan trying to like have fun and think about, just how would Hulk defeat this like little wasp character that's buzzing around without just like squashing her, because we need her to be a character, and Hulk can't just kill her.
We need her to keep coming back so I can make weird off-color sexist remarks 24/7.
Yeah, no, very rough. And yeah, Stan Lee and women is not the best. We are not going to talk about Stan Lee X-Men in an episode because I just can't. But obviously, like, that's like the biggest or the worst offender of that, and how just Jean is the only woman and every guy is just like, "Awooga," just constantly
24/7. Like even Xavier is
who's like crying in the corner, like, "She's so hot, but she'll never love me. I'm a cripple.
I'm too crippled and old. She'd never sleep with me."
Like, oh my god, stop! But Iron Man swoops in. And they try to get him in a net, and that doesn't really work because it's the Hulk. And Hulk does this really fun thing that I kind of wanted. I don't know how I would pull it off in Marvel Rivals, but I want to try it. Where Hulk, he kind of leaps. Iron Man is flying after him. Hulk like lands to like stop. Iron Man goes, whoop, oops.
Right past him.
Hulk jumps up and tackles him out of the air. And it's like, oh, that's so fun. That's so like fun and clever. And Hulk, you know, he knocks Iron Man down and then starts, like, chasing him again. Or Iron Man starts chasing Hulk again. Meanwhile, we cut to Thor actually being helpful. And so he's basically going to this island. Loki has a bunch of traps for Thor. Go ahead.
I'd like to point out, like, first you get, like, a couple of panels of, like, Thor going to Odin.
Oh, yeah.
And Odin's like, I don't give a shit, dude. It's your brother. You deal with it. I'm not gonna. This isn't my problem. This is your problem. It's like, dude, come on now. Like, you're the one who put him in the. I assume I didn't read the preamble, but
Odin put him in the thing. Yeah.
But like, you literally just put him on an island. Didn't do anything to like mitigate his powers a little bit. Like, you did effectively nothing, and then your son comes to you and is like, "Hey, Dad, you did literally nothing." Well, then why don't you go fix it, asshole?
Odin sucks. Like, Odin will always suck.
Yeah. I feel like it is kind of part of it, but like...
He looks cool as fuck here, though.
Dude, he looks pretty sick.
He looks really awesome. So yeah, Thor, he set off to this island. There's a bunch of traps for him, like even just in the water. Before he gets to the island, like Loki is just throwing everything at him. And he ultimately just kind of dives underwater. And Loki's like, oh shit, did he die? That sucks.
Oh, well, I was hoping I'd get to...
Like, oh, he fell for the water trap? That's lame.
Really?
I'm actually, like, really unsatisfied. I thought revenge is what I wanted, but now that I have it...
Yeah, but now that it's happened, I feel like this maybe wasn't the way.
But of course Thor just shoots out of the water and starts attacking. But then there's these, like, underground trolls that I assume are just native to this place. And
I couldn't tell. It comes so out of left field.
Loki says it. He's like, oh yeah, these trolls kind of live here, and I made a deal with them that I would bring you here, and then they would take you and make you their slave. So this is kind of, I think, the ultimate like Loki plot.
Yeah, because they're, I think they want to make him like a miner. Because I think he says somewhere in there.
Yes,
like,
a slave in their minds.
A slave in their minds forever, and it's like, well, who better to mine shit than the god with the hammer? Like, just...
Speaking of the hammer, Thor just goes, no, lightning, and the troll falls back down below. It looks like, shit, that didn't work.
Yeah, you
My plans kind of suck, apparently. Thor goes to hit him, and, mental projection.
Haha, it wasn't me, idiot.
Classic Loki. And Thor's trying to get him, and Loki's got, like, a bunch of clones, and I really wish this was in Rivals, too, where Thor, like, he kind of, like, forms, like, a cyclone, and kind of just blows all the various clones away, and just leaves the real Loki, just, like, hanging from an edge. And he's like, I'm a god. I'm just gonna fall. I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
And Thor's like, no, you don't. And he, like, turns Mjolnir into, like, a magnet.
A magnet.
And he just pulls Loki to him. And so Loki's just stuck to Mjolnir.
Yeah, and he literally is holding him up like the Statue of Liberty, just...
It's so
Idiot.
funny.
It's a very
Loki's
goofy
just
panel.
hanging there, just like, yeah.
Put me down.
Put me down. And so we cut back, even though the villain's taken care of, we cut back to Iron Man being a dipshit, and he and Hulk are fighting, and Iron Man's trying to like capture him, restrain him, and just nothing's working because it's the Hulk.
Yep.
And finally, Thor just swoops in with Loki on the hammer, and he's like, "Guys, knock it off."
I got it. I took care of it. It's done.
This was all a trick. Everything is fine. And Hulk's like, "Oh, this is all his fault? Okay, well, I'm just gonna murder him then." I mean, he doesn't say that, but he's like, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy." And of course, Loki does his, get your hands off me. I'm a god. You are stupid, puny humans. I'm going to kill all of you. He makes himself radioactive, so everybody's kind of like,
they're
I feel like Hulk should be getting stronger, but we'll
yeah,
let him have it.
Hulk's just growing exponentially, and it's like,
that would be awesome.
That would be so.
That would have been so in line with all of Loki's plans horrifically backfiring
Just
in this.
straight.
He just makes Hulk way stronger. No, what instead happens is Loki just happened to be standing on a trap door. Ant-Man and the Wasp activated and trap him in a vault. And then obviously all the characters are like, we're the Avengers. Like, we're going to form a team.
Oh, hey, this was pretty cool.
And for some reason, they give Wasp the honor of naming the Avengers.
Which is nice.
But, like, where does she get it from? Because what I thought, because earlier when Thor's on the island, is Thor says avenge. Like, he's like, I'm here to avenge the Earth or whatever. And so it's like, well, that's where the name comes from. Because this thing Thor said when he was by himself.
Yeah, so why is the Wasp the one?
Yeah, she just kind of says Avengers. And it's like,
yeah.
That's weird.
The Avengers it's always been just an odd name.
It's a really cool name.
It's cool.
If you think about it too hard, it's like...
Yeah, once you think about like the context of like the word itself, it's like...
what it means.
The movies and everything, I mean, even then, they're not really like avenging anything. It's just...
I mean, they talk about it. Like, they reference the name in the line. Because... And they do explain where the name came from. You didn't see this movie, but in Captain Marvel, her like plane or her flight name was Avenger or something like that. And that's where Nick gets the name from.
Ah, okay.
But... like Tony has a line about it in the first movie, like, even if we don't save the Earth, we will avenge it. And obviously that ultimately happens when you get into Infinity War and Endgame.
But even in Civil War, Tony's like, oh, that's right, we're the Avengers, the Revengers. We can't do anything until everybody's already dead.
I think that's Endgame, when he's like getting in Cap's face. It's because after everybody's like dead and shit.
Yeah,
and he's
everyone's
like, right, we're
dead.
the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't prevent this. Like I wanted to do.
Yeah.
All we can do is avenge the people we lost.
Yeah.
Even though my plan, which obviously his plan didn't work, but
right,
because his plan was a scary robot.
I said we needed a shield around the Earth.
It's like, okay, well, he went crazy and tried to blow up
tried
the
to kill
planets.
everybody. And you told me I couldn't try again. Do you not know how science works, idiot?
He did try again. That's how we got Vision.
Yeah.
Vision's just too busy trying to get laid.
Yeah. Vision's too busy fucking.
Yeah, that's the Avengers. Obviously, I'm being a little facetious about their success, but, like, they never go away. They become a mainstay of the Marvel Universe. This series lasts, like, 400 issues into the 90s.
I've noticed that a lot of the individual, like, character stories reference back to the Avengers, and the Avengers a lot of the time will reference to their individual stories as it kind of goes on. So it kind of, like, it's there for sure.
And it's funny you should mention that, because the Avengers is a very constantly evolving beast with people coming in and out. So, like, Cap, who is not here, Captain America, who's not in this initial story, he will come in issue 4. So he gets introduced pretty quickly, and that is where the frozen and ice thing comes from.
Oh, okay. Right, because originally he's not here because...
he was a World War II hero.
He's a World War II hero, so it's a little too late.
And so we want to bring Cap into it. Okay, here's what we do. He went down in World War II, got frozen in ice, and then the Avengers find him, and then we retcon that the Captain America that we were publishing in the 50s was a different guy. It was an actor who was hired to pretend to be Steve Rogers so that, to keep morale up. So that
Right.
people weren't like, oh my god, Captain America's dead.
Right.
Because the reality was, I mean, he wasn't, but like Captain
wasn't,
America
right.
and Bucky died.
Yep.
And that's what Stan sort of retcons in.
Which
And
is
Bucky
a really
is legit
good idea.
dead.
Like that is a really good idea.
No, yeah.
Just like,
But then pretty quickly after that, within like a couple of years, I mean like 65, 66, Stan, I think, from what I read, got tired of having to like tie into individual stories.
braid it all together.
And so the team disbands and Cap forms a team, like a new Avengers, that is all characters that don't have books or stories, like all they are. And that's where like Hawkeye and Black Widow and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, that's where they kind of start coming in. Maybe not Widow. Widow might be a little later, but Hawkeye and the Maximoff twins, who had made appearances before.
Right.
Like they weren't brand new characters, but it was sort of like, well, I don't have a Scarlet Witch book. And
Right.
we don't tell Scarlet Witch stories. So like that'll be the Avengers. It'll be characters we don't tell stories about anywhere else.
right, because it makes it easier on me, because now I don't have to.
I don't have to like keep track of where everybody's at in their stories. And I think Hulk even quits long before that. Like I think Hulk gets sick of being around them like pretty fast.
No, that sucks. Screw you guys.
But I also think that's why Avengers had a hard time for a little while, is that it's hard to like get invested and like follow these Avengers when they're constantly like evolving and warping. And,
Yeah,
like,
it's like a
what is
big
this even
revolving
about?
door. It's like, oh, hey, my favorite character's there now. I'm going to read this. Oh, he's gone. I'm okay. Not going to read it anymore. And it's just kind of like a constant, like, in and out, in and out.
Yeah. But I think that'll do it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.